thank Richie Thayer from Thayer's Marine for keeping me and Travis on the water. You know, when you're fishing on the Great Lakes, you're dealing with wind, waves, and opportunities for disaster. But when you buy a boat from Richie Thayer, you're on the water for every tournament, buddy.
There you go. Okay. Yeah.
With a load of iron ore, 26,000 tons more than the Edmund Fitzgerald weighed. Exhibiting crew was born to be tough when the gals and all them I got the ship was afraid of the American side, coming back from the middle in Wisconsin. Big freighters go, it was better than most, with the crew and good captain well seasoned. The dawn came late and the breakfast had to wait. The waves broke all of the railing. Every man knew as the captain did do, which of November comes the sun.
Yo, hey guys, Smallmouth Crush. I am trying to figure this out. Hold on.
It's been a minute since you've been on the show, man. So welcome back. Page 87 of the manual, Smallmouth Crush live manual.
Why doesn't
You'll
this work?
You'll get there. We worked on that last week. I never get tired of that intro, man.
Bear with me, guys.
We're still here. Well, Travis is working on that. I'll show you guys my location. Lake Gaston in Warren County, North Carolina. And I'll regale you with a story. So I'm helping my buddy redo his deck. I've been working on a deck renovation all day, man. New boards, new stairs, putting on those caps. So he wanted to learn how to bass fish, right? So I said, you only need one lure, a wacky Senko. So look behind me, Travis. Can you see that dock behind me?
Yes.
Okay. So my first pitch was off the corner of the front of the dock of the neighbor's house. And I said, they like to live on corners a lot. You know, you got to get it by the piling. No bite. And I mean, literally, I dropped an inch of the piling. The second pitch was down to the corner of his dock from the top. Do you see that? The corner, the front corner over there, right? So I showed him how the Senko looked in the water, and I said, watch it like float down. So I brought it up to the surface after I pitched it, and I said, see how it's wiggling back and forth? And literally, when I said wiggling back and forth, about a 2.5 pound spot pops up, follows it down. I see the line start to walk off, set the hook. I give him the rod and walk down, and we land the bass, and we just ate him. I cleaned that spotted bass about 4 minutes out of the water, man. Knocked him over the head so he didn't suffer, and cleaned him up, and we did him on the Blackstone grill with some steaks tonight. So we had surf and turf, and I got to tell you, that spotted bass, Travis, was delicious.
I bet.
Bass. He wanted to eat it, man. So what could I do? I was going to release it, but he wanted to eat it. So Wacky Senko got it done. Caught him on ugly stick too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was his rod and reel, man. That's what I hooked him up with. VMC Nico Finesse. So shout out to VMC with the Nico Finesse worm, rigged wacky. It was a, gosh, what color was it, man? I think it was like a smoke with like purple and black flakes, smoke purple, black flake, something like that. Maybe had some silver in it too. Yeah. So there you go, man. Wacky Senko comes through. Second cast, boom. How about that?
Nice.
How you been, man?
Good, guys.
The last couple of weeks, huh? Go ahead.
Well, so much has happened. Random stuff. Well,
yeah.
I had some boat, mechanical issues guiding, and then.
Yep.
What else happened?
Well, yeah. Do you want to talk about it? Maybe not.
I'll just real quick, and then we'll forget about it.
All right, we're gonna forget about it.
It's helping a friend back up a boat into the water, and that was a what do you call them? Pleasure boater?
Yeah, I'd say it's a pleasure boater. You know those people you see at the ramp that put their trailers crooked? It's that kind of boat, guys. You know the videos that you see where people can't get their boat in or out? It's that kind of boat. So, right? It's people that struggle in life.
Yes, those people like to drive around and just drive around the lake without fishing.
Yeah, right. Exactly. There's lots of millions of people out there with pleasure boats, Travis. So you're helping a buddy. All right.
Yeah. Anyways, I backed the boat in.
Yeah. Which you're pretty good at.
I acted as if it was a bass boat, but it was on a roller, and the boat hit the it rolled off really quick, and it caught my hand, and it's all right. It's not big.
Yeah. Yeah. No broken bones. Black and blue though. Pretty swollen. Yeah, I had a buddy that on a boat lift, the boat lift released, and he tried to grab the handle, and literally it split between his fingers, like lots of surgeries and stitches. People lose fingers with crazy winch accidents. You're lucky, man. It could have been a lot worse. There's some force and revolution and RPM going on that thing, so no question about it. Welcome back to the show, man. I got to tell you, Travis, it was really. Did you watch the show where I hosted alone and nobody came on?
No, I didn't.
So that was last week, right? So I thought Big JP was going to make it. He was headed to Taekwondo as he does with his kid, and I'm expecting him on like at 8:30. So I had a couple stories for everybody. I talked about being on Bass After Dark and what I shared, and that show was for who, for what. And I told that story last week, right? So I got my old Bass manual out that I got for my lifetime subscription and went through let's see if Tom Mann, anything that he said bass fishing tip wise in 1975 applies today. And I went through most of his top 12. And crazy enough, I asked the viewers on Bass After Dark and our viewers, what they thought still applied, and the majority of them did, man. And it just was very interesting to me how much it hasn't changed or how much it's turned around and come back, man. He absolutely was a fan of the spinning reel. Did you know Tom Mann never fished with a bait caster?
No.
True story. Yep. And so went through that and told some other stories, and then no JP. So I'm trying to have a conversation with close to 200 people online. And I don't know about you, but I could tell you this. I have to have other people in a show to feed off their energy. That's just my jam, man. I like the live interaction. I love talking to the chat too, but it's tough doing a solo show, man.
Yeah.
Without
can you talk about the Bass Lab? I'm going to be right back.
Yeah, sure.
Where grab something. What's new at the Bass Lab? I got to grab something. Okay.
You just got back and now you're leaving. It's crazy. All right, so what's new at the Bass Lab? Guys, I can't even see the chat tonight, so if you're asking questions, I don't even know who's in the house. I'm sure it's Darius King, Matthew Weimer, all the regulars. Thank you guys for showing up every week. I hope you enjoyed the show last week. Been doing my best to keep it running. So what is new at the Bass Lab? So as you guys know, if you're a balsa crankbait nut, I did my Morning Wood sticker, and now we've got it on a shirt. And so I've opened the pre-order. Closing it after the show. Probably close it tomorrow sometime, so if somebody's not watching live, they can order it, but that's going to be the last of that. It's a limited run. They're going to be on Comfort Color 100% cotton shirts, and they're some of the best t-shirts out there. It kind of feels like it's pre-washed, and it's got a faded look to it. The really natural cool colors, and the Morning Wood looks great on it. It's an ode to TK Stanley, who paints the balsa baits that Big M, aka Marty Burns, carves, and he hand carves them. So I did that shirt for him, and I'm excited about it, man. I sell that sticker online at the Bass Lab. So if you guys want to visit it, it's just you can Google Epic Eric's Bass Lab and go to the swag tag, or you can go to basslab.bigcartel.com and you can snap them up. So we appreciate the support, and thank you guys for checking out what's new at the Bass Lab. So whatever Travis is doing, I'll tell you guys about my tournament weekend. You guys probably know, if you listened to last week, that I fished a 2-day championship on Kerr Lake, also known as Bugs Island in North Carolina. This was the Cat Team Trail Championship. So Scooter and I had a chance to actually practice. It's been rare for us to practice lately. We just show up and we fish our style, which is shallow power fishing. And most of the time with the electronics turned off. And as you guys know, Bugs Island and Kerr Lake, they've gone mostly through the spawn. We got about a day and a half practice in. There were a lot of fish shallow. On Friday after practice, we buttoned up the boat, put the cover on, because a monster storm was rolling in. And it was a crazy powerful front that moved through. So had some lightning in it, blew some trees down, temperature dropped. So Saturday, tournament day, was much colder than practice. We located a bunch of fish shallow, and it looked like it was going to be a slugfest for us, and it was setting up for our style and the way we like to fish. First fish of the day, I caught on, it was a 389, shallow water. I watched the bite, which was really cool. So that was a hell of a start. And then we had our limit probably by about 10 o'clock, and we weighed in. We called a couple times. We were looking for one more big bite, but we were just shy of 14, which put us in the top 20. And day 2, another bluebird day, little bit of wind, and man.
Uh-oh.
Was a 2.7 for me, and then couple. So we had our limit by about 9, so earlier than day 1. And I'd say that limit was probably like 11 pounds, maybe 12 pounds. And we knew we were going to need 17 to 18 to win the tournament. It always takes 31. We've won a team championship on Kerr, and I think we had 33 pounds. We kind of dusted the field on day 1. We had a big lead going in, and I think we caught like 13 and a half day 2. So it's always around 31, 32 for 2 days. So you got to, average about 15 plus. So late, about 11 o'clock, man, I put one over 4 in the boat. Watched that bite. That was really cool. And
What'd you catch that on?
I caught it on a bigger bait, and maybe when I'm home I can show it. All my bites came on big baits. They were very visual bites, which was cool. And so I'll do a little chalk talk on that. But so around, I don't know, man, 1 o'clock again, we're fishing shallow, and dudes, I make a cast to some cover, and I'm working my bait along it. I watch a 4.5 plus come out and just inhale it, and I'm trying to get it through some pretty gnarly cover, and one of my trebles connects on the end of a pine tree, and it gets a sappy branch, and the hook point sticks into it. So I have this bass pinned to the branch, and we turn the boat around. We're headed to it with the net, and I'm keeping pressure on it, and the fish is just going nutty, thrashing, and pops off like
Really?
10 feet from the net. What are you going to do? And another 5 is hooked up for a split second. And those 2 fish, I don't even want to say, man. But what are you going to do, man? That's bass fishing. So, he put us around him again for an excellent tournament. I think we ended up 20 something, but it was a heartbreaker. But that's fishing, man. That's fishing. So that's what's new at the Bass Lab. That's the tournament report. It's good to be around them. The wind, that weather changed, hurt our shallow water, dirt dobbing pattern. But hey, man, we'll get them next time.
When are you coming back up this way? like back home, I should say.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna see if you were interested in coming up here for a few days.
Yeah, I'm leaving tomorrow to come home. So I've been gone since last Wednesday because the person that I'm visiting, man, it's a client of mine that we used to work together. He's retired, bought a place on Lake Gaston, wants to learn how to fish. So he had some home improvements. We did that little fishing session, as the story I told us to start the show, and so we just had some nice steaks and we ate that spotted bass. So I'm worn out, dude. I mean, 3.5 days of fishing. You know how it rolls, man. You get your gear ready every day, make sure your stuff's right. You're running hard, you're fishing hard.
So you're not gonna come up here for a few days? I'm just curious.
Yeah. Yep. Tomorrow morning I'll be headed on the road. I got some work calls.
I asked if you want to come up fishing here soon.
Come up there? Yeah, I gotta check the schedule, man. Let me check the schedule.
All right.
I will do it.
Let's bring our co-host, Big JP.
Hey.
Welcome.
What up? How's it going?
What up?
Good.
Good, man.
Good.
Eric, you look magnificent. Look at the sun in the background, your Costa sunglasses with a teal green hue to them, a Gamakatsu hat on. You look fantastic.
Look at hold on. Let me get you the color there. How's that? Even better. Whoa. Look at that picture, man. That's pretty cool. This lake's got them too, man. This place, I don't know if anybody's ever fished Lake Gaston that's watching, but they put those, I guess they're F1s in here, man, or whatever they are, F4, F3, F2s. I don't even know anymore. But and the spotted bass, Travis, are getting huge in here. So Scooter and I won a Bojangles championship on this very lake, and I got my personal best spotted bass out of here. JP, it was the first fish of the morning on our championship day one. It was a 377 spotted bass. Spotted bass.
Nice.
That's a magnum, dude. And he caught like a 375, and they were topwater bites, which was extraordinary. And I won't bore you with the rest of the story, but we were headed down a bank, and this is day two. So we're in second place after day one on Gaston. This was the Bojangles Championship. We were Anglers of the Year that year as well. And day two, so we're rolling down a bank, and a guy goes, "Hey, yeah, I've got like a 5-pounder that lives under here, lives in this bank. I see him all the time." And I whispered under my breath, I go, "Yeah, I weighed him in yesterday." And then as we keep going down this row of docks, right? It's like 3 docks later, and we've got like 30 minutes left. And Scooter put a big frogfish in the boat about an hour before that. And he goes, "Dude," you got anything to make my Senko sink faster? And I go, "Flip your Senko back here." And what I put in it was, JP, you might know this from construction. Travis, maybe you do too. I use these all the time. They're really cheap. This is a great bait hack for anybody watching. Don't buy lead. Don't buy any of those Nico weights. Buy yourself 1,000 pack of carpet screw drive nails. Carpet screw drive nails. They come in silver, gold, and brass. If they're feeding on bait fish like shad, I like to use a silver one. If they're feeding on gills, I like to use a gold one. And brass is great for tannic or stained water if you can find them. Copper is the color. They're hard to find. But anyway, so I stuck one in the end. His next pitch to a dock, he goes, he weighs in like he leans back hard. I mean, the fish is into the backbone, dude. He goes, "Bacon, net." And dude, I put a 5 and change in, and we won that tournament, man. 2-day championship for Bojangles. That's the story right here on the Lake Gaston. Pretty sunset, huh? What do you guys think?
It's nice.
It
It's
is.
nice.
So it looks like he's freezing up a little bit once in a while. There you go.
Yeah, I probably don't have great signal out here, so I'll try to hold the camera still. But
we're gonna keep it.
yeah,
We're gonna keep it.
so-
We're gonna keep it quick tonight. We all just want to jump on, let everyone know we're still around for now.
Man, Big JP's been at the doctor's a lot the last couple weeks, man. Last week I had to go. Well, first of all, I started lifting weights. This is like 4 months ago. And anybody that knows me, when I'm all in on something, I'm all in on something. And I went way too many reps. And in between the reps, I was doing push-ups, and I ended up ripping my left shoulder apart.
What?
And both my elbows I couldn't touch, like they were like on fire. The elbow pain went away,
What
but the shoulder pain didn't. So last week I went to the bone and joint center, and they did an x-ray of my shoulder, and they said I had a bone spur in my shoulder that has been there since birth probably, but I must have irritated and had some inflammation, and the bone spur was giving me the pain. So anyway, long story short, they shot my shoulder up with cortisone.
Oh,
And 2 days later, I'm pain free. I mean, this shoulder feels like $1,000,000. So Saturday, I took my father. This is actually a pretty good story. A couple weeks ago, I took a guy on a guide trip up to Lake Champlain.
yep.
We're in a backwater. A boat is in there. The guy asked us how we're doing. We said we're doing fine. I mentioned I was in the middle of a guide trip. He proceeds to tell me that he's a guide on a certain lake. I said, that's great. I focus on Lake Ontario, the St. Lawrence River, Champlain, and Oneida, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, Saturday, I take my father to this lake, right? I don't even know if I want to say the lake on here, but I took him to the lake. And this guy that I ran into in Champlain, right? His boat's on the dock, and my dad dunks me, and the guy starts going off. He's like, you're not guiding here. You didn't say you guided here. I don't need another guide on this lake. And I go, excuse me? I
What?
said, dude, I'm taking my dad out for a fun day of fishing, bud. I said, relax. And he goes, and he kept saying it. He goes, you never said you guided here. You don't need to be guiding here. So
Wow.
finally, I was like, dude, you need to kind of calm down.
Who is this guy?
I don't know. I don't
Let's
even know his
find
name.
out.
So so my dad gets in the boat. My dad
Now hold on.
goes-
Does he look legit? What kind of boat does he run?
He runs a Legend.
Oh, so he can't even. So he's running a 10-year-old boat that's not even like. Yeah.
I mean, I don't really think that.
he bought your old one, Travis.
Yeah.
No,
No, I'm
No,
saying
it
is,
wasn't
so he's
blue.
not up to date. He's not guiding clients with the latest and greatest, trying to educate, show them how to catch fish with the right high-end St. Croix rods, the right line, the right setups, everything laid out perfectly. He ain't doing that.
right.
That's
So
how
my
we
dad-
roll.
And he
My
sure
dad
doesn't
gets in the
throw
boat.
a tailless
and my-
beaver.
He probably does.
My dad goes, hey, bud, what the hell was that all about? And I'm like, nah, I don't know. That guy must have woke up on the wrong side of the bed. I didn't even tell my dad what was going on,
Man, that's
So
just bizarre. What the
So we
heck?
go out. We caught over 100 fish on Saturday. I mean, it was crazy, right? My dad
Did
was
you
having
run
a
in
good
them
time.
again?
I never ran into him again on the lake, thank God. So
How did you
Anyway.
just dropping this? What?
what's that? Well, I'm kidding. I'm
I-
coming full circle on this.
Okay.
So we caught so many fish. The next day I wake up, dude, my elbow. I couldn't even open my arm. It was stuck like this. I'm like prying my elbow open. Right? And I called Travis. I go, dude, you ever have like shooting pains in your elbow from fishing? And he's like, you'll be fine. So then this morning I woke up and I'm like, dude, this is like really bad. I'm going back to that bone and joint center. So I went there today in the morning. As soon as they opened, I got there about 10 minutes early. There was already 10 people in line. Luckily, they were first-time customers, so they had to get the iPad and fill out all their information. Big JP was there last week. So the lady's like, boom, boom, you're all set. They come in, they grab me. The guy pulls me in the back. It's the same guy that shot my shoulder up, right? He goes, oh, is everything all right with your shoulder? I go, bud, give me a shot in the elbow, would you? So he sticks this needle. It's like this long.
Oh my gosh.
Right down into my elbow, dude. And when he shot that cortisone into my elbow, I thought flames were shooting out of my fingertips. That pain went all the way down my arm and out my fingers, right? And I had this big head rush, and I was like, whoa, that felt weird, right? And then no pain, baby. I'm ready to go, bro. I am back in action.
Well, JP, so Western medicine cured your symptoms, but they're not curing the cause.
Well, I know that the cause isn't cured. He told me I have tendonitis, which was probably induced from lifting the weights and doing more than, reps of 10. I was doing 20-pound weights until I couldn't do it anymore. I overstimulated the tendons in my elbow. He says it's going to take up to 8 to 10 months to heal. So the cortisone shot will last about 4 months. So I might need 2 sessions of cortisone shots to get me through this pain, because it was freaking bad, man. I'm telling you, it was like, I don't complain about pain that often. And it between this shoulder and my elbow, I was ready to freaking drive my boat off a dam.
Yeah, dude. Just remember that when you first go in to work out, don't be a knucklehead, dude.
Yeah, I'm taking it easy on the weights, but I'm not going to be doing them again anytime soon.
Yeah.
Man.
Nice.
All right. So just a brief recap here on my end, and then we'll kind of see where this short night will take us. These comments are great. You see the comments tonight, Eric?
I'm looking at. Somebody said I was rocking the Jose Wahebe vibe. Yes, Big JP land the plane. Come on. Yeah, I've been.
You ever
checking it
drink
out
one
a
of
little
these, Travis?
No.
These are delicious.
Okay. So obviously guiding up here has been closed legally. I'm getting to the point though where it's like there's bass boats every day out here, and they're wrecking them. Even Canadian waters. And I guess it is what it is. Listen, I agree that they should be able to fish, but the government tells us it's not. So I'm torn and I'm jealous because I can't be out there.
Right.
And so just, I don't know how to think or what to do.
Karma's a bitch. The guys that are not following the rules will have their day.
But JP, it's a dumbass rule.
I agree, but a rule is a rule. So whether we like it or not.
Says who, though? You know what I mean? Like, because the government, because people that don't have a clue, basically, that are running this show. Well, Eric, you step away. JP, it's a dumbass rule.
I
Hey,
agree.
Travis, the way I see it, listen. I'm the pirate. I'm the pirate. I'm the fish pirate. You cannot fish Canadian waters right now. Aye, matey.
Yes.
Give me your smallies or your soul. The choice is yours.
You sound like Brody.
I just had to do that. I don't know why.
I 100% agree that the rule is stupid, but who do you think that the DNR is going to stop when they see out there?
The guy.
Sure.
The guides. They're going to stop the guides that they see with different people in their boats every day, and they're going to be the ones that they harass.
But most of the people up here are actually from out of state. There's a lot of out of state plates at the ramps.
Oh, well.
And
so
that's
they
fine.
Continue to fish during closed season, of what you're saying.
Which they should be able to. I agree with that, but technically it's legal by the government. I want to go fishing. I will. You know what? I just might. And if you fools see me out there,
start fishing
for pike.
Yeah, not targeting smallmouth. Right. Sniper jig works on pike. And
damn right it does.
And largemouth. I mean,
well,
just as long as you don't keep them.
Right. But I had a really good idea, guys. And I just want to run past everyone. I'm just curious if anyone would be interested in doing this. I need to be able to guide during this off season. If New York's not going to change, I'm actually thinking about doing the early season, obviously doing the regular guide trips this summer up on Lake Ontario, St. Lawrence River. But I'm thinking about doing kind of a maybe 3 weeks, 4 weeks during that May 10th through June 15th period next year, where I hit the Finger Lakes and Oneida, kind of open up my guide service to that. And it's going to be more of a teaching how to break down what I would do type of thing. It's more for anglers that really want to learn maybe how to break down water with me, since I'm not as familiar. I mean, I have experience on all those lakes, but I'm not out there regularly. So I want to make that disclosure, but I would like to do that. I'm wondering if anyone would be interested in doing trips like that in the future. So
I think it's a great idea.
I definitely would. I definitely need to do that. I'm actually, if you can't get up here in the next couple of days, I'm going to be hitting the Finger Lakes, just to go out and do something. JP, what's the report? They're catching them there, I would assume.
Yeah, Cayuga Lake's on fire. They're catching giant largemouths on Cayuga. Oneida Lake, they're days away from pulling up on beds. I'm sure this week is going to make it slow down a little bit or whatnot. And then I would assume that Seneca Lake is fishing really well right now, too.
Perfect. Well, that's where I'll be heading, nice. I think.
Good time.
Yeah.
I like it.
I went out in the lawn, a couple days ago. pike fishing, you know, and just kind of
Oh
exploring.
wow. Yeah, cool. You find any big ones?
Got a gar.
That's strange. On
Yeah.
Ontario?
Oh, hey, let me ask
There's
you this. So on this lake I went to
What?
on Saturday, I had this fish come off the bottom,
yeah.
real slow. Ate my bait. I set the hook. I'm thinking, man, this is going to be like a 7-8 pound largemouth, dude. This is a big one. Started acting real weird, Travis. You would know, I wouldn't. I don't catch a lot of lake trout. It seemed like it was rolling a lot. It was a rip and
Mhm.
drag. Is that kind of what a lake trout will do?
How deep
Or
were
a
you?
catfish.
35 feet. No catfish, Eric.
Okay.
Why don't
But
you
there
think it
is-
was a catfish?
There's a lot of lake trout, and my dad caught a lake trout later in the day,
Ah.
That could be.
and I just didn't know if lake trout do that whole rolling thing when you hook them or not, because I'm not familiar with catching a bunch of them. So,
Yeah.
what was the water temp? Where does he want to know where the water temp was? The water temp on the lake that I was on was about 53 degrees to 58 degrees is what I saw.
Oh,
10-4. 10-4.
that's
Well, guys,
wild.
hey guys, it looks like there's some rain coming in to the east of me. Check out this sky.
So I'm gonna bug out and go jump in the shower. It's getting cloudy.
All right, Eric.
Okay,
good luck,
well,
buddy.
thanks for hanging out with us.
You got it, man. Hey, man, JP, good to see you, man. Travis, welcome
Hey, you
back
too,
to the
Eric.
show. Thank you, everybody in the chat. And remember, the Morningwood t-shirts are open. It's basslab.bigcartel.com. Closing it tomorrow at some point. Thank you guys who ordered. I appreciate it. We'll get to printing them soon.
Will you give me a call tomorrow and maybe discuss
I
opportunities?
will. 10-4. Perfect, guys.
Okay.
Have a great night, man.
Later,
Peace,
Eric.
everybody. Tight lines out there. You got it.
Travis, what was
Well,
the
there you
water
go.
temp when you went out in the Lund?
Oh, so I didn't want to talk about it much, but there was fish on beds probably May 2nd in certain spots up here. But that was 54 degrees in certain areas.
Right.
I can't remember. It's going to be a slugfest on opening day up here.
Yeah, majority spawning will be open a week.
So, yeah, but that's my plan. I'm going to kind of focus on that kind of fishing for next year because I should be able to work a little bit more during this off season. It's nice to have the break, but I feel guilty going out by myself. Just like, I don't know, I could make some videos, but I like to. It's my full-time job, you know, so I want to be able to create more revenue during these off seasons. It'd be nice if New York just opened up and let us fish, but
Yes, that would be the best option.
I'm gonna upload a video.
I seen a bunch of Canadians complaining about the Canadian openings, the Canadian season
Like saying what?
on the internet that it's crazy and there's too much pressure and there's boats everywhere. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Granted, I wasn't out there nearly as much as you. I think I did 10 trips during the early season. I never saw another boat.
No, I as far as
never
fishing
saw it.
pressure goes, I don't think that's even that's
Right.
not even on the radar. And I was there every day. Was there boats? Sure, but at the ramp. But when you get out there, where is everybody? Everybody's spread out. They're going to go to your community holes, right? The people that can't find them are going to go to the community holes and try to grind out fish for the day, and that's fine.
I think the
But-
funnest part of the early season is finding new areas.
Oh man, I'll tell you what. I'll give you a recap here, guys, because actually I did want to do kind of a recap. So it was an awesome spring season. Basically full for next year, unless you're a regular client that's fished with me. For that, I may have a few dates available in the spring, but a couple things. I'm going to try not to guide people that are coming up here with their boats. And I mean this in the most sincere way. I don't mind you doing that. It's a little different maybe in the summer, but the problem I ran into is some guys would, I don't have thousands of spots during the early pre-spawn. I have a dozen in areas where we can travel to because of weather in this section, another dozen over in this section, another dozen over here. But when I run my deals, and then the guys I've guided, are up for the whole week, and they're just sitting on the same stuff, it's not like I have a whole bunch of new shit I can run to. Does that make sense, JP? So that kind of bit me a little bit this year.
Yeah.
And so we're going to try to figure out a solution for that for next year. And I think a lot of it has to do with just repeat customers, guys that I know that I've fished with a lot.
I
like
see
I
what
said,
you're saying, because especially this spring, it was so cold and it stayed cold, and the fish were wintering for way
a lot of the
longer.
community areas, though, places where we've caught them in the past springs, just didn't produce that well this year either.
Yeah.
So there was just some special stuff. Like, I don't have massive areas where it's all spot specific. So that's the problem I'm running into. What else was I talking about? So I guess I'd like to make that change for next year a little bit. We had some tough days, and I mean tough days were still some of the best days in most people's lives while fishing for bass, right?
Yes.
But tough for me. We had a lot of wind this year. It was not warm at all. Still isn't warm. It's cold as F right now. There was 3 warm days this spring. What, JP?
No, it's just funny because every time I went up there, I'm like, man, maybe it'll be warmer. And every time I went up, I had my winter gear on.
Yeah, I had my winter gear. And to be honest with you, I did better in the nasty conditions. A lot of
Yeah.
east wind this spring.
Oh, I did. Now, do you think that them fish are just that aggressive because of the time of year and how many fish are in those locations during that east wind? Or do you think that we were just thinking of the east wind wrong the whole time?
You think we're thinking of the east wind a little bit wrong. Yeah. I think
my best day, and it was
Dude.
over 34 pounds on 5 fish, and it was cranking out of the east.
Yes. So here's what I do know, JP. You know how we get when we're guiding and we do our drifts with an east wind? When that east wind is strong, that's what I did this spring. I drifted with the wind regardless of the current. Like going back against the current, drifting,
right,
and still caught them pretty good. I will say this. I learned a lot, especially in the river this year. I didn't fish the lake a whole lot this year. I bet you I was 70%, 80% in the river.
Hey, Travis, I want to interrupt you just real quick. Have you ever had a client, this happened to me, that you took out, and then he called you like a day and a half later, and he said, hey, man, check this spot out. I found it, and it's loaded with big ones.
That'd be awesome.
That happened to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy was cool. Big shout out to that guy. I don't want to say his name out loud on the live, but.
Right.
Mhm.
So I fished, I retied a lot. I had a good time, man. I was burnt out for sure. Doing doubles most every day. But we caught, I think we're down for size this year. I think we had 12 or 13 over 7. But it's a good day when clients are just like, oh, it's just another 5. You know what I mean? And we caught a lot of fish. Definitely caught a lot of fish. But I did learn, like I was saying, I found JP, I found 3 or 4 magic boulders this year that I never knew about that are going to probably produce better in the summer. for us in the river. Another thing I did a lot of, because I got to learn a little bit. And when guys have a great day, sometimes I'd like to try some different things. And man, dude, there's so much opportunities. Especially if you have forward facing sonar, you're able to really locate some fish. I wouldn't say quickly, but more efficiently. Like you may have to. And I tell people, it's like even guys that are bringing their boats up, I'm trying to teach them what to look for in the next couple of days. So maybe they won't hang out in the spots we were just on that day, if that makes sense. And I started doing that more, JP. You know, between you and I and what we shared, you just go along breaks, edges, flats, and you just look for groups of fish. And most of the time, those fish are going to stay in that zone. Although I think it's hit and miss. They're not there every day, but it's just another place to check before you run on to the next spot.
Yeah, my favorite type of clients are ones that are all about that. I'll be like, hey, we're onto a pattern here. You want to start running? We've had a great morning. Why don't start running some new stuff, right? And then we can maybe we'll catch a real big one, right? And we'll run some new areas for a little while. And if it doesn't work out, we'll go back to doing what we were doing. And actually, that particular client that I was just talking about that I said shared the spot with me, I was telling him how we were breaking the day down as we were going. And I'm like, man, as you can see, we're on this side of this type of thing and it's butted up against this. And let's try running that. So we were running that. And then he went out and he did not go to the spots that I brought him to. He went and checked out new areas. And then he actually called me and shared those areas with me that he found, which I thought was awesome.
Right.
So big thumbs up to that dude.
Yeah. So listen, JP, we got these big magic boulders I found, right?
Mm-hmm.
I also have a deep, I'm talking 10 feet from the bank. It goes from 8 to 40. And they're sitting in this thing. Big ones. In a brand new zone. Oh, shit. Then just above there, I found 3 magic concrete blocks that will produce all summer long as well. Kind of out of the way. But the theme this year, there was I had my magic rock last year that was epic. This year I caught maybe 12 fish off of it versus last year you'd catch 12 fish every stop. But there's another magic rock that produces every year regardless. And I've caught multiple 30+ pound bags off of it during this season. So that's pretty crazy, man. It just blows my mind, dude. Like, ridiculous. And then we found a lot of flats that were in the river that held a lot of good schools of fish. I feel really a lot more confident, JP. I don't want to say this. I mean, I will say this. You know how, and it's very effective. You know how we love to drift certain places and there's always fish there and you catch a good bag. But I think there's a lot more opportunity in the river as well as to set up on specific spots and make casts to them. And I think I found a handful of those areas as well for this summer that are going to hold. These fish basically, there's no major migration. There's no transition. They're going to live. If the fish feel like going shallow, they're going to be on that shallow boulder in August, just as they were in April. If the fish feel like going deep, they're going to be on that deep stuff in August, just as well as they were this month. Would you agree with that?
I would agree. Did you think that on the days when there was no wind, though, which was very few, it didn't seem like there was the amount of current that there was last year?
Yes.
I was like, man, my boat's like barely moving.
Dude, I had a pike trip last week. And we did catch some pike, but I launched in between. I launched east of Alexandria Bay, and we were running, and it was foggy. Dude, there was debris. It looked like tidal water. It reminded me of the Chesapeake Bay at slack tide. There was debris field all over that main river. And I was like, what is going on here? It was a flat, calm day.
Yeah. And it wasn't moving either.
No. Nope. Yeah.
Interesting. Well, usually debris in the river means that the water level is coming up, right? It's picking the shit up off the bank.
And good point. And it is slightly.
Yeah.
But it wasn't moving. So it's just interesting. But
it's just weird.
Yeah. But there's so much opportunity, dude. I gotta send you some spots to check out because I'll give you an example. I freestyled it for maybe a couple hours one trip. I set up on a spot, had a nice drop off, and they were there. We caught them. But then I found a boulder that was actually sticking out of the water. So it was like in 3 feet of water, dude, right? And I was like, I never fished this rock in my life. Dude, there was like 8 fish on that thing. You know what I mean? So that's the cool part about it. I'm just reading some comments here. Riley goes, what were the whacking the pike on? So for pike fishing, for me, if it's not a chatterbait or a spinnerbait, you can't beat a big ass daredevil. 1 ounce, red and white, old school. I just love throwing daredevils, man. So I had one, dude, because it was a solo trip, and the fish weren't set up quite like I thought they would be. And it surprised me. We made a bunch of casts early on. And I whipped out there, dude, and I got freaking railed. Monster, because there's some big ass pike. Musky too, you know what I mean? And yeah, he broke my line and it was a done deal, but
really?
Yeah. Yep. And then I made a little audible. We put the boat back on the trailer and ran up to another spot where I had some good pike. Accidentally we would catch while we're bass fishing. I'm like, this is the place. And we caught a few, but they weren't chasing like I thought they would that day.
You think everything's just a little behind?
I think so.
So weird. Last year, everything was so far ahead. This time we were saying, man, we're going to find out if the temperature really has anything to do with it. They'll probably still all be spawning. And then it was like the worst. Last year opening weekend was like nothing compared to the 2 years before, because remember, it got super hot and they were almost all done.
Yeah. So Lee, I'll take that. So the rod I use with the spoons, I use that St. Croix Legend Extreme 7-foot medium heavy. And then I don't mess around too much with line size. To me, I'm a lot lighter than most guys. I was just running 16-pound Gamma on that. Steel leader, black on the Daredevils. That seems to be the best setup for me anyways. That rod allows it to really make a nice long cast, and it loads up great for that. I know there's guys that get more technical when it comes to pike and musky fishing. I just use bass gear, I kind of like to fight better on a bass gear than a big heavy. I know there's a lot of great musky rods and pike rods out there, but another technique is trolling for pike. We're able to do a lot of that in some of the back bays and things like that, and that's been very, very good. The Browns have kind of displaced themselves from inshore to kind of mid-depth, I believe. Lake trout bite's going good right now too. So, I mean, there's a lot of opportunities. If anyone's interested in coming up here in this off season and doing some trips, I'd be willing to see what you had to think. If you have some ideas, you want to go to Finger Lakes, or if you want to come up here, do some lake trout trolling, brown trout fishing, all that, I can definitely do that. I got enough, pretty good grasp on what's going on out here up on Lake Ontario and St. Lawrence Rivers. So we're just waiting for that season to open up, JP.
Yeah, man. Time to get summer rolling. I woke up this morning and thought it was October.
Dude, I don't even want to. It's going to be August before we know it. Then it's going to be September before we know it. They're speeding up time, JP. You laugh, but take a moment to really think.
I think the older you get, the faster the time just seems to
It's a
rip
good
by.
excuse, but there's younger kids. There's 18, 15, 13-year-olds that feel the same.
Yeah.
The simulation has increased. Time is speeding up, and we just got to embrace the fact that we're here. You know what I mean? But time's moving way faster, and it's not natural. And it's just crazy what's going on out there. You all right there?
I got to hold on a second.
Okay. Something's going on at the household there. Tom, you brought up Smallmouth Crush Open. What's going on? I know it's going to be last minute, and there probably won't be a lot of boats, but if I can get JP, what days do I have open in June?
I'm back.
Hey, JP,
Yeah.
do you want to have a Smallmouth Crush Open on the 21st of June up here?
I already have that whole weekend booked for me.
For what? Where are you fishing?
The 21st of June, I'm fishing up there in the river.
Oh,
You're not booked for the weekend of the 21st?
I
Well,
took.
you don't like to work weekends in the summer.
No, I kept that open because I wanted to fish to see if there was a tournament
Right, but there's not any.
or we create one. Doesn't look like you want to create one. How about you fish with your client?
I got 2 guys coming up.
One of them fishes with me as my partner.
I can call them and ask them if they're interested in doing that.
Well, let's first talk.
Yeah.
Can Gino facilitate with us? I mean, we got to
No,
check
'cause
with Gino.
He's gonna have his big Greenbush Bass tournament that weekend.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, yeah, no tournaments this year.
The ABA is all done. They're not having a New York division this year.
Yeah, so there's no ABA. What do we do, bud?
I mean, I think for next season, well, I know that there's something coming that we can't talk about yet on live. So there's going to be an opportunity next year.
There is?
Mm-hmm. And then I think that if we were
Can
going to
you text me what that is real quick?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Steve goes, every time I'm about to book a trip, you start talking crazy. Steve, listen, I don't get crazy in the boat. I'm all business focused, ready to catch some big fish. If you want to talk about different entities, skinwalkers, shapeshifters, rakes, whatever, we can get into it. I can point some things out. I can educate you about the Bermuda Triangle of Lake Ontario. I can talk about the underground world, the humanoids and all that, if you choose to, or we could just jack on big 5 and 6 pound smallmouth. Totally your call. All right. Did you text me that?
Yeah.
All right. Let's see if this was text worthy. Really?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Why can't we talk about that?
Because I was told not to.
Okay. Is he gonna? Can we help?
Yes, we're going to be
dictate
helping.
launch
Yes.
sites and stuff like that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And then I think honestly, if we want to have a couple of Smallmouth Crush Open tournaments, we need to actually talk about it. Like,
What's
now
wrong with the
for next
21st
year.
of June?
What's that?
What's wrong with the 21st of June?
Well, the 21st of June this year, number one, I told you I'm already booked solid for a 3-day trip. I'm not canceling. And then you have to have permits pulled and stuff, and it's probably going to be hard to do that.
I thought we didn't need permits if
No,
we were
New York State changed the law. Now you have to have a permit for every tournament.
okay. And where can I find a list of these tournaments so I can try to jump in some random tournament?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know of any random tournaments up there. You got the.
Can you do me a favor, JP, tomorrow? In between, when you're just sitting in your truck drinking coffee, yelling at your employees, could you get a hold of the DEC and say, listen, I'm curious if you guys have a public list of all of the bass tournaments that are held in New York State and where I can access that.
So you're going to have that information starting next year, because that's what they implemented this year, was that and I think you might be able to get it for this year. Every tournament is supposed to pull a permit this year, regardless of size of tournament or boat ramp they're going out of. Because they want to start looking at how many tournaments they're having on bodies of water and certain bodies of water, how many different organizations are going out on the same day and stuff like that.
Yeah, Devin goes, club tournaments and spending $500 a day to launch out of Messina is about it. It is about it.
Yeah, that's the problem with the tournaments up there. All these places want to go to Messina, and then you gotta finish in the top three, which I know that's the goal. But if you don't finish in the top three, you literally lose money.
Oh, MC goes online. I was looking. So Big Bass Dreams had a post about some tournament app, which I downloaded a couple days ago, and I haven't looked into that. Let me what was it called? Fishing Chaos app. So there's Fishing Chaos app, and then there's Tourney X is the apps that I know. And I know they have length tournaments. I know it's not the same, but I still like the competition. I may look into that, but what I like is the regional events, because our 5-pound smallmouth are 18 inches here. And, you can go down south and catch 20, 22-inch bass. And so in a length online tournament, it's hard for me to compete. So it has to be regional. But I would love to do that.
Me and John were fishing one day.
But I think he was talking about looking online for the DNR permits, but that just brought up another thing here.
John and I were out one day, and I caught a 16-incher that weighed 5'1". 16 inches.
Yep.
It's nuts.
I'm gonna have to look into that.
You used to do all them measuring tournaments. You used to win them things all the time too.
Yeah, there was a platform that's the guy's shady that put these on. It would take a while to get payment, things like that. But he used TourneyX platform, and yeah, I jumped into the length tournaments, and because it was normally sun up till sundown, yeah, I took advantage of that, and I won a bunch of those
We should
events.
start one of them on Lake Ontario.
We could do that. We could do that. I'd rather have a real derby, JP.
Right. I know.
There's no events on the 21st that we could jump into up here. It's so sad. I realize I really don't like going out on the lake unless I'm fishing in a tournament. That's the truth.
Costs a lot of money to make that run around the lake.
I don't know. I'm trying to look through the comments here. Maybe next year. Oh, and we're thinking about doing Thursday or Tuesday nighters or whatever. That's something. I don't know, man.
Saturday nighters.
No. Weekdays. I don't know about the opening weekend club murder derbs. Does anyone know of a tournament on the 21st up here on the St. Lawrence River? Let me know in the comments. Because I would like to fish that. So I guess we're not doing the opens. I could just go jack on spawning fish with my clients and not have a reason to care, I guess.
See the news coming out for Bassmaster?
What is the real news, JP?
Well, the from what I heard is that next year it's going to be 50-50. They're going to do half with and half without.
During the day or depending on the event?
The event the whole event will either be all scope or all non-scope.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think they're caving in. Whatever. Do what they want. I don't care. I don't care anymore. There's so much bitching about it. You
With
guys
all
know
the-
my
with all the
position. I love it.
restriction- With all the organizations putting restrictions on, maybe it's time to open one where it's no restrictions.
I mean, I don't get it. I don't get why you don't want to go fishing to set the hook.
Why are 10% of the people making the decisions for the other 90%?
Listen, I know guys watching this right now there's probably some that are anti forward facing sonar, and I don't understand it, and that's your prerogative. Go out there and fish the way you want to fish. And I'm very certain that guys that are in the comments right now, or guys that are watching this that are not really big into that technology, they're not the ones bitching about it either. They just prefer not to use it, and they move on with their lives and fish the way they want to fish. I think that's how we should all fish. But, dude, it's so helpful for me. And I'm not using it like the guys down south. They're out there targeting roaming fish. JP, that's not really my style either, because our waters are so massive. Sure, you can get into some roamers, but I use it for structure and to just see if the fish is on that piece of structure and then fish it. I'm not out there just random out in 30, 40, 50, 60 feet of water looking for a fish swimming around. That's not how I use it. Maybe I should be, but I use it on structure, and it just helps me know, do I stay or do I go? Right? That's it. Is there a fish here? So, there's my little rant.
You can go fish a tournament on Champlain the 21st and 22nd.
I don't know enough about that. If I'm going to fish a tournament on Champlain, I need a good week and a half of exploring, dude. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
We signed up for that Champlain event on the 21st. You know who's going to win? The guy that's been out there for 2 weeks, know every weight of every fish on every bed.
Right.
Not me showing up on Saturday looking. Shit. What else we got here?
I think that tournament could get one down south, to be honest with you.
Do you?
Yeah. The alewives are already down there, boys. Them fish are on beds now. They'll be off and be chomping on alewives. And if the weather was right, you could go down and crack a way bigger bag down south than you're going to get on a bed fish up north for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it looks like Dan Thomas found with the information you're looking for.
I'm looking. Where's that at?
He says he
Send you a link on IG of local attorneys. Oh, great. I'll take a look at that. I don't even know where Bonaparte is. I know nothing. I guess.
Is Canada the first weekend in July or second Saturday?
Well, largemouth opens a week prior, and you can't tell me that makes sense, Canada. So I will be bass fishing for largemouth week prior. Okay. I don't know, bud. Oh.
Hey, you remember that guy? I think it's Waves, Currents, and Ice. You fished with him on Cayuga.
Sure.
So I guess I wasn't able to make it on last week because I had some family stuff going on or whatnot. But I guess Gino came on, and he said that he's from Skodak, but I thought he was from Canada.
I think he moved.
So he's from my hometown. I wonder how old this gentleman is and what his last name is.
Well, he's in the chat, so we'll find out. Waves, current, and I had a rough day on Cayuga, bud. Remember we were on that crankbait pattern?
Yeah. Yeah, see, he says Skodak. No, I live in Quebec. I figured that Gino didn't know what the hell he was talking about. Yeah.
Shodak.
Hmm.
Anyways, well, JP, let's is there anything else we want to add? So no tournaments. We'll probably do a Smallmouth Crush Open next year, do a couple and commit.
That
Why
sounds
isn't
great.
the AVA what
Because I really
what
enjoyed doing them smallmouth crush opens. I know I did 90% of the legwork, and I dealt with all the people with getting the entry fees and emceed those events, and I had a great time. Those are some of the fondest memories of my life. You know, I really enjoyed doing that stuff. The giving back and providing people a platform to come up to one of the greatest fisheries in the country and try to show their skills off. You know.
yes. Some of these comments are very funny. Are you guys feeling okay? This is the most fish talk I've heard in a long time. I think we're okay. All right. So let's plan better next year, but let's make it a great season. If anyone's interested in fishing Finger Lakes or Oneida in the next couple of weeks, get a hold of me. I guess I'll have the 21st of June open if you want to book a trip. I also kept the 28th. Can we do the 28th, JP?
Hold on.
Uh-oh. Do it.
We'll talk
funny.
tomorrow.
Okay.
We got to talk about these dates tomorrow.
All right. And then are we doing the cash in or am I going to have to fish the BFL?
I told you I'd talk to you tomorrow about that.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Are you fishing in the morning?
Tomorrow?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. So I'll get the guys rolling and I'll give you a shout around 8:30.
And we'll talk about everything.
Yeah.
I guess, JP, if you're not fishing the cash-ins, I did the math. July 12th, out of Messina, BFL, I enter it.
80 boats.
Camus cash. Decent payday. I make a long-ass run if the weather's good, and I come in with a huge bag. It's up to you. Or we fish cash in closer to the zone.
30 boats.
And we make $800 and maybe a couple of cash in rods. Right?
Right.
With no plaques, no hardware. We'll talk.
All right.
You're not done yet, JP.
No, I didn't say I was.
Thousand Island Open is about 2 months away.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Nope.
Are we staying in Canada or are we driving over every morning?
You haven't decided.
Okay.
I need you to do a test run over the border to make sure you can get through.
Right. I can get through.
Well, I need you to make that test run, not the night of the 23rd. Okay.
All right.
I effed up. I got guide trips for
Tom
the
Pavlet says it all right there, baby.
what's that?
That's my opinion of the 12th.
Oh, I don't know anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
It is a good point. Yeah, we should we look, can we talk, you want to do something in the summer, bud?
What do you, this summer?
Yeah, maybe 3 events.
It's going to be really hard to do anything this summer, bud, because, you know, I worked around what we had originally worked on and I'm pretty full.
Are you?
But for next summer, if we start planning now, we can slate the dates so that nobody, you know, we don't have a conflict with the dates.
Mm-hmm.
Next year, thank God it doesn't open on Father's Day proper like it does this year. Not that I know you're.
I'm not going to allow the government to tell me this is the day I need to celebrate fatherhood. If you need that, JP, go ahead. I don't. I'm going to go fishing. Okay?
All right.
All right, guys. Hey, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And as always, until next time,
See you
see you on the water.
baby.